Hey guys, what's going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to an episode of Casting Conflicts. Of course, got a good matchup today. Not much from me here in the intro either, so let's go ahead and jump right into the gameplay and see how this goes. Alright folks, so welcome back to another episode of Casting Conflicts here. This time got Banana taking on Jump. Of course, Banana rocking the Druid Viking. Of course, Jump bringing back the Viking Crusader we saw in that last match. So Jump, not Jump, who are you? Jimba? Slasher? How you feeling about this one?
I'm just liking that Banana put back Mystic Journey. I think Mystic Journey Rat King could have been an extremely scary combination. I mean, obviously has no idea. Oh, and he gets it right back though. But looking at Jump, he has Priest, Cleric, Rat King. I think it's going to be a very even match here to start out with.
Yeah, it should be a good one for Jump, especially since we're moving past his bricks, or at least hopefully. We know that was a big issue for him in that last match, or in that last series against Tweakin here, but it doesn't look like he's going to have that same issue, at least in the opening moments here. Although, right now, Banana starting off pretty strong for his deck. Of course, injured Trent, Lumberjack. Not too bad for him, I would say, for sure.
I think here I would pull everything back from Banana, play Hassan City Guard, and let Cleric hit face to get a triple reanimate. Not what Banana's going to be doing here, though. He's going to be playing a Wizard, priming it for next turn, so that way he can push back any Cleric pushes, and he can begin to gain map control slowly.
Probably. I mean, Cleric would also theoretically heal itself after each attack. So I think he's, in a way, trying to just avoid that. Because that's the thing. You could pop a big reanimate, but with the fact that Cleric would heal itself, I think Wizard is the proper play there in order to, you know, set it up to at least take it down in the end here. But it looks like Jump not going to really fall for the bait there. We see him retreat the Cleric, instead push the Priest up further, allowing Banana some more setup, though. Looks like he goes for his own Blacksmith. I think it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game here for Banana. See if Jump can, you know, take the bait and push for reanimate. If not, we still have that very powerful, very deadly combination of Rat King Mystic, which, you know, we always preach here is an insane underutilized combo.
Absolutely. I see that Jump has not decided to push that. He didn't push that Cleric. I think he's very well aware of the reanimate potential.
Right.
Additionally, I think that even with him holding back Priest here, Banana can slowly but surely gain footholds in this match that Jump just doesn't want him to be able to take, because with that Druid Viking, it has the highest burst potential.
Very true. So we'll see the Temple play go down as a reaction to Banana's previous play. It does take out the Lumberjack, so there does go a little bit of the reanimation fuel, although Banana can simply put in this Trent and jump right back. Seeing his hand, pulls another Call for Aid, which I don't think is what he's looking for at this point, but we'll see how he reacts. Maybe go for, considering a Wizard takedown, even not, you know, saving the reanimate, which is fine. I mean, definitely can, you know, use it later on. Instead goes for one of those two Call for Aids and pushes up the Trent, which is kind of curious. I mean, wouldn't you say the Trent play is more of a sacrifice, if anything?
I like it because it's going to give Banana the option to get off that reanimate. I think he should have been playing Hassan City Guard earlier. He should have been more aggressive, because something like a turn 3 reanimate or a turn 4 reanimate with even just 3 undead units being reanimated, that can finish games very, very quickly. Because then, especially against Viking Crusader, Viking Crusader doesn't have that oomph or that pack power until they begin to get buildings up and running, until they get into that late game where they can play stuff like the true Viking power cards.
Right.
I think it's also even just as scary for Jump, though, if Viking Druid get into that late game, because once again, both sides have Mystic Journey, but something like Liana, Mystic Journey is a whole lot scarier than anything else that you're going to see for the most part coming from traditional Vikings.
You do have a point there. I do agree with you on that one. So we see Banana set up the guards in response. He did use the Trent to trade with the Cleric, it looks like, allowing Jump to activate this Golem, though, which shouldn't really be a big problem for the deck, I don't think. Although, looking at Jump's hand, we do see a lot of big boys in there. Kraxus, Ragnar, considering Swordsman at this point, another Golem. He definitely has options going into this late game, but the question is he going to really be able to utilize them, effectively, or will Banana just be able to kind of make some kind of big push that will end the game? I mean, you mentioned the late game potential in Vikings a lot, and both sides, like you mentioned, have access to that. Who do you think is going to be able to make the better use of those resources?
Right now, it's definitely Banana. He already has been able to pop a single call for aid. He doesn't have Temple in his hand or anything like that, but currently he doesn't need that with his double blacksmith out.
Right.
I personally would prefer Temple in this situation just because it has so much cleanup potential with say something like Rat King being popped by Banana.
Yeah.
But when it comes to doing just sheer damage, it's extremely difficult to out damage that double blacksmith as a whole.
Right. Right. Um, Meanwhile, looks like Banana's gonna go ahead set up a Ranger to hit face. I mean, very being aggressive here, and that's what he wants to do, because we've recognized a lot of this game Jump being very passive, being very, defensive, if you will. So Banana gonna look to push the envelope a little bit, see if he can really get a big push or at least a big chunk of damage out. I don't know. I think if I remember correctly, Jump has wins in here, right? So do you think he's saving his units back here for a more effective wins play?
I think it's I think that Banana knows how scary this deck can be. He's seeing something like Swordsman coming out.
Right.
That could be
Oh, and
pulling
there's
the
a killer draw though for Banana.
absolutely. I mean, that's going to be freezing the top two. I mean, that's going to be right alone 12 gold worth of, excuse me, not 12. That's going to be 15 gold worth of units frozen there. And
Yeah.
it's going to be setting up for a chain that Jump's not going to want to be clearing out against.
Right. So there is the frozen pillar, of course, going to freeze off that swordsman and Kraxus, making room for another ranger to push in. Very nicely done there, looking to maybe hit off the Kraxus or the swordsman, depending on, what comes out of Jump's hand to block this. But yeah, I definitely like that play from man. Not needing to play any more than just the pillar and the ranger. Rearranging units, it looks like, to be more aggressive here. But maybe he could actually end the game if this push is successful here. I mean, the Ranger is 9, the Wizard is 5. That is more than lethal.
Absolutely.
I
I'm
mean,
going to think we're going to see Temple, Rat King come out to clean everything up.
right. I would additionally, though,
But
like to have
even
seen.
then, that's just so unideal.
Right. I mean, if I'm Jump here, I would like to get the heal out. My castle is getting dangerously low, and with how the double blacksmith is penning this game, I would like to put another safety bumper on my castle here. Looks like he's going to trade the golem into the ranger here, other than the rat king, like you mentioned. And where does that go? I'm trying to bounce back between. I'm getting a little lag off of both, but it shouldn't be too bad. I think Jump is jumping back to Jump now. His is not looking too good, so I'm going to stick on Banana side here. He does okay. I mean, yeah, pretty much do what you mentioned here, cleaning up the board and using the heal. So very nicely done there. Uh, so if you're Banana, how do you turn this around? Considering,
I think Banana has the game right here.
you think?
That Mystic Journey gets popped off.
I think he threw it in the Rat King in the wrong place, though. No, actually, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's off by 1 for lethal.
I don't think it's going to matter. I don't see a way for Jump to
Yeah, he
clean
needed to throw the Rat
this
King. I
up.
mean, it. You're right. I think this game is pretty much over. But if Banana wanted to put a solid exclamation point on the match, he would have thrown the Rat King on the top instead of the bottom to generate that additional rat. You can see there like that missing bottom square of the castle. If he was, putting the Rat King above, he can do something like throw an additional rat for that finishing blow. So we'll see if Jump can, make some kind of comeback. Again, like we're mentioning, I don't really see a way out for him here, considering how much damage has been done. He could use the church heal here, but even so, there's a lot of bodies coming at him very fast.
Any chance that Craxus to get if anything's going to happen.
Right. Alright, so Craxus does perform the draw here. Does pull Church again, so that's a double Church potential. But again, double Church doesn't do him enough work here. He needed that rat to be on the bottom so he can trade with the guard. Maybe make a Ragnar appearance to chain and kill off the remaining 2 units in the front there. And I don't think Jump has a way out. He's throwing out the respect. He doesn't appear to have a way out. He'll throw the Ragnar to showcase it, I think. Actually, no. I just realized Krax is blocking, so I mean, that is fair for now. We'll do a little bit of lightning here. I assume the attack went through. I'm getting a little bit of... Alright, and match number 1 in the books concluded there. Slight difficulties toward the end, but we got it done. Of course, Banana picking up the win, as I assumed that happened. Banana, how you feeling with the Viking Druid win there?
Pretty good.
Now, I noticed that you went for the bottom rat instead of top. Was that just purely misclick?
Yeah, I
Or...
misplayed that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was wondering if, you could have probably ended the game a little bit sooner, but it turns out the results did not change in the end there. And meanwhile, on the other side of things, Jump with the returning blue-yellow, of course, back to its normal ways, as I'm gonna, well, not normal way, that's a little bit mean. Anyway, yeah, how did you feel against the Viking Druids there? Didn't seem like a good matchup for you.
No, it was a tricky matchup, but I would have been better off if I had drawn a few freeze cards, and then I would have been able to stop his big units.
Like how he froze off yours.
Yeah, and it would have been, I don't know, a little bit helpful, but in the end, he played well against it, and instead of going for an early push when he didn't have the resources to end the game, he stayed back until he could build up an army that I couldn't stop without freeze. So it was well played.
Well, fairly put. So, how you guys feeling about a match number 2? You want to jump into that right now? Alright,
Yeah,
you don't get a
sure.
choice then. Off we go.
Whoa, he's countering with a full Awaken deck.
Alright, and welcome back, folks, to match number 2. And as you just heard from there, Jump bringing in the Awaken counter to Banana's Viking Druid. I'm getting my players mixed up there. So, pretty... I would say okay hand from Jump. Doesn't have the dojo in hand. It's not what he's looking for right away. But, I mean, Imp, Swords, Headwood. It's workable. Certainly workable. And the Arcfire with Headwood certainly going to do some damage there. On the other side of things, though, as I jump to Bananas, looks like he's got a couple of decent starters here. Goes for the guards. As I, commentating the fast play-by-plays here. Slash, how are you feeling about Jump's choice here?
I think Awaken's going to be too slow against something like this initiative druids, because they can have so much early pressure put on. We're already seeing that the Hassan City Guards fully counter the Imp, and that's something that Jump was really not hoping for. And I think it's just going to get more and more difficult the longer the game goes, when you start getting those Mystic Journeys coming out, when you start getting those bigger cards, which can just completely destroy Jump's backboard.
Right, and I mean, we're seeing the Shaman, so again, kind of keeping the foot on the gas. They're not really losing too many resources, still putting some pressure on. And I mean, if you're in Jump's position, I would like to see a right paired with the Headwood in this position to make it more impactful. I mean, where do you really go when you're looking at Jump's hand? Badger, maybe?
I mean, Badger's always a good option, especially because it can stealth, and then make it very scary for any ranged units on the field. I think the issue that Jump's really going to start looking at is that as the game goes on, those buffs are going to start piling up on Banana's side.
Right. The temple, the armory, the black. I mean, we saw how impactful double blacksmith was in the last game.
Absolutely, it is the biggest game changer right now in the game.
Right.
Um,
So we're gonna see.
there,
Oh. Nope. Go ahead.
oh, there isn't really any card as a whole which is right now better than Blacksmith.
Right. I mean, that just goes to show the power of global buffs in its entirety, not just Blacksmith, but when you look at cards like Armory or Fat Bard, those two have some incredible potentials to change the game here. We're going to see Blacksmith dropped, of course, using the coin after deploying Pillar to freeze off both Sword and Wizard. Jump's going to be able to counter that, but that risks Chain, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, from what we can tell in Banana's hand, he's bluffing Chain right now. So, we'll see how Jump approaches this, going back to his hand. Darkbender was not the pull he needed.
I think he's okay here. I mean, Ethereal Panda is definitely not the play because no matter which two units he returns, at least one of them is going to be beneficial for Banana to have returned to his hand.
Right, whether it's the draw or the second unit from the guard.
I personally would have played something like Headwood here, as it would have had massive threat for any multiple units or even just that pillar.
Right.
I don't think Jump's going to clean up this pillar here, and even if he does, I don't think it's going to be too impactful because immediately Banana's going to play. He's going for it.
He's going for the pillar takedown. So he's going to attempt to go against Banana head on here. Going back to, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I full screen instead of that. Anyway, going back to Jump's hand, which is over. Nope, that's Banana's hand. I am on the money today. Oh no, this is the right hand. This is the right hand. What am I doing?
Banana could take some very tactical trades here. He could be hit using Shaman Temple to hit
I think that's what
the
he's
Wizard.
Gonna do here. Yep, Shaman.
I personally would have preferred to have seen him play a second freezing pillar there and create that beautiful chain pocket. He would be risking, though, the chance that he wouldn't be able to completely clean trade that there.
Right.
But as long as Jump can't get something out that stays out and stays alive on the board, Banana's got this one in the bag.
So we'll see Darkbender take down the Shaman with the Darkbender. Did I say that correctly? I think I did. Yeah.
You absolutely did.
Okay. Fantastic. And of course, Badger Lumberjack being the play to go to. Makes sense. I think Badger is the big body that Jump wants to use to kind of threaten this board here. But I'm going to go, though, for the second freezing pillar, which we previously saw in that hand of his, pairing that off with the Injured Trent. Trying to create another opportunity for some good chain action here, which is the right move in my opinion. Ooh.
I think that Jump's really not going to be feeling it as much any longer as the match goes on, because after playing that Lumberjack, he's now created that pocket that's not going to be going away.
Right, so it looks like he's Jump's going to try and pop a Headwood Burn. Unfortunately, not successful in eliminating the Pillar Trent threat, which, you know, he needed both of those activations to get rid of. Instead, hitting one on the Temple instead, which gives Banana the opportunity to work around with this current position here. Looks like he's going to go for Bestial Rage. Yep, hits Bestial Rage, goes for Darkbender, going to probably eliminate Headwood. I mean, he now knows where Badger is, though, so does he go for Badger, or does he go for Headwood?
I would be going for Headwood in this situation, just because that Badger's going to stay frozen. And, I mean, Banana still has that 7 gold he can work with. That Call for Aid, that's going to trade with that Badger very, very nicely. And he still has to create another pocket by cleaning up that pillar.
Very true. Very true indeed. So it looks like Banana going to go ahead, just move the Blacksmith around to a better position, looking to just pass from there. Jump really not in a good position. I'll see what his draw is. Drew into Meditation. Yeah, definitely not what he needed. Considering Panda to maybe bounce back the Blacksmith to avoid Chain, but I think he should save that for at least when maybe some bigger boys come out. I mean,
yeah,
a Chain one here is not going to kill him.
Northland's Ranger, he could get some real value out of putting one of those back in his hand, especially because it'll make it cost 2 more. Additionally, though, something like Archdruid and Yenneroth, he doesn't want to be bouncing those back.
So we'll see if maybe Banana goes for one of those options here instead, maybe predicting the Panda. I mean, Yenneroth is a certain card that would be somewhat okay here. Knowing Jump's hand, I mean, we know that Jump has pretty much no answers to it, but Banana doesn't know that. Doesn't have enough to really double Ranger yet, which I think might be his plan here, if he wants to play both those Rangers. We'll see. Goes for Leanna instead. Alright. Would you prefer Leanna or Yenneroth in the situation, one over the other? Or do you think either one would be more useful?
I think at this point it doesn't matter. I think that the combination of cards isn't going to matter for Jump here. Just looking at his position and then going back to his hand and looking at it, it's nothing that's really going to be standing out for him. That Lumberjack pool really helped him, though, getting a Masuda out and a Headmaster, so that way he can start getting those Awakens.
Right.
The issue that Jump's about to have, though, is that that double Ranger will come out, and if it's not immediately killed off, it's going to be hit up with a second Leanna immediately after it.
Ooh, and that's going to be brutal.
Yeah, this first Leanna, or if it was a Yenneroth, would still have traded pretty decently against what we have here on the board right now. And so because of that, then it's no matter what he does, that final push basically would, I'm thinking, or not would, but will guarantee Banana the game.
So it looks like we're going to see a trade-off here. Of course, both of those trees being cleaned up by a whole host of cards. Of course, it took both of those draws, it looks like, to really take down... Oh, and the move didn't go through.
Jump falling into time trouble once again.
No surprise, considering what he's done in the past here on this series. Jumping back to Banana's hand, though, does pick up a Rat King Mystic Journey off the top. Ooh, that's going to be brutal for Jump to deal with, if he could even survive what is currently still in the bag. I mean... Does he go Yenneroth? Okay, looks like he goes Yenneroth.
I personally prefer Leanna Mystic Journey in this situation.
Right.
But I'm not sure that's going to be an option as the game goes on. Well, it's all going to depend on what Jump pulls here.
Which, I mean, we saw Lumberjack just now. Let me jump back to see what I could see in that remaining hand. D-Fire. Which is unfortunately not going to be a strong pull. He can clear off Leanna and Blacksmith, but still leaves Yenneroth on board to do a hefty chunk out of face.
If that Yenneroth gets a Mystic Journey on him, I think that's the game right there.
I mean, he has the Journey. Banana has Journey in hand already. So we'll see if he goes for that play. Maybe... He runs double Ranger in confidence. That could be a play too. But if he does leave, or if he does go face here, I think what Banana has to consider is what does he have to take down Badger? Because that is a big Badger. You can't deny that.
Absolutely. I think the fear here for Banana, honestly, the only thing that I could see Jump coming back into this series with is if he pulls Swiftness, and off that Swiftness, he pulls an additional Swiftness. And off of that, there's the Mystic Journey.
There's the Journey. So
about.
yeah, he's going to pretty much ensure that Badger is useless to Jump moving into this pretty much, I think, final turn here for him. We'll see. Jump rips off Wizard from the top. I think Jump's considering Panda here. As much as it's going to be harmful to give Banana back that Yenneroth, what else is he going to do to kind of keep himself in this game?
He absolutely has no other option.
Right.
And realistically, with this one, I don't see a comeback after this next Yenneroth is played by Banana.
Right. Yeah, he played both units, of course. Neither of them are going to have a huge impact. Of course, with the Wizard being a ranged unit anyway, it wouldn't be able to attack off of the spawn. So yeah, Yenneroth running right towards face again. Jump rips D-Fire and right off the top. Neither of those are going to be able to tank against the Yenneroth or remove the Yenneroth in any capacity. He can ride the Badger for fun, but... No, Panda's initiative, not Awaken.
I would just save my hand here. He
Right.
has one chance
Oh.
of get. I would not. Don't surrender jump. You have one chance of getting back in this.
Nope, never. Oh no, he surrendered. You hate
That
to see
wasn't.
it.
And while that was lethal,
Right.
there is a chance that Banana just. I don't know, man.
It's rough to see a surrender here, especially since we always like to say that you never really surrender unless you know you're out. And I mean, maybe Jump didn't realize he had that turn left. Maybe it could have been an oversight, but yeah, we would have liked to see him at least follow through with the series. But it's all good though, no harm, no foul. Banana will still take the game here, and that does mean he gets his first series win here on Casting Conflicts. So it must be pretty exciting to him. What do you say we go back to both players though and see how both of them are feeling after that last one?
Absolutely.
All right, folks, and we're back after a match number 2. Of course, Banana picking up his first series win here for the for Casting Conflicts. Banana, you must be feeling pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm full of enthusiasm right now.
I could really tell by that monotone voice that never changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk us through the game here. I mean, you went up against Awaken here, so you must have been feeling pretty strong in the matchup. Was there anything that you were kind of particularly worried about seeing out of that you were really like, I can't let this go through or else I'm gonna be screwed?
No, not really, because Freeze takes care of, all the big units, and his
Right.
Headwood's not going to do much.
Very true. I mean, we were thinking maybe Headwood to burn out a lot of the rats potentially, but again, we didn't really see Rat King come out at all in the game anyway. And yeah, I think the freezing pillars were very effective in creating those chain pockets. Did you have any kind of further? Oh, that's thanks for closing the stream, Jump. I had that screen open. Anyway, getting back to the question here, the freezing pillars. Do you think you could have maybe used them any more effectively, or was that just sort of the best use out of them, in your opinion? Kind of a
I
dumb
mean, I'm
question,
pretty
I
sure I
know,
used
but
them
yeah,
pretty well.
right. Listen, sometimes your brain just runs on empty when you're trying to think of questions. Slash, how about you ask a question?
So, I mean, Jump, you've already stated that you did that for fun, but do you think you had any outs in that match, or there was any combination of cards where you were going to say, yes, I can guarantee this will be lethal against anything he can do?
No, the only way I could have won that match is if I had pulled a really good starting hand.
Yeah,
I mean, if Awakening pops off early, then it's very hard to counter it. It just gets so big so fast.
absolutely.
But if you don't get that, then it kind of fails, and
So,
it was not a smart choice to play against. Well, I mean, with the Bestial Rage and companion units and Lightning Blade and all the options and all the initiative cards as well. There's so many ways to take out a building or a strong unit that I build up, but yeah, it's what I felt like playing at the time, so I went with it.
we also didn't see any draw come out of your hand, and ironically enough, from the Druid Viking, we saw Call for Aid, which is more draw than anything you had there. Do you think that was just a fluke, or is that just a very low draw deck?
It's got some draw in it. But it really does rely on the Sleeping Dojo as its main draw power. But it also runs some smaller things, Lumberjack and Fear, and just some standard small draw cards.
Yeah.
I mean,
That seemed like a pretty open and shut match from basically the time it started. No offense.
Yeah, I threw myself into it.
sometimes you just gotta have fun. That's
Yeah.
what we're sometimes here. As much as it is about the competition, the competitive play,
Yeah.
a lot of us are here to have fun. Which I think will lead us into a nice closing. So with
Yeah,
that
you
being
gotta
said,
help out your other competitors to get their wins sometimes too.
Yeah, the money's on the way, Jump. Don't worry.
Thanks.
I love how just all right. Well, with that being said, with my transition being very nicely interrupted, let's throw it back to my future self to close this out. God. Alright folks, that being said, I hope you did enjoy this edition of Casting Conflicts. Let us know, of course, what you thought of the matches by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below, and while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like if you enjoyed, share with your friends, of course, subscribe if you're new or haven't done so. It is the best way that you can support us here on the channel. And yeah, with that being said, guys, until next time, stay gaming.